Um, right now it's about 4 in the morning. I don't usually stay up this late, but I've been hanging out with my buddy Pension as well as Steve, and also talking to San with an F at the end. And we've been getting into all kinds of stuff. One of the things we first started off with was we were talking about, can animals reason? Do they have consciousness? Is it more than just instinct? And there's just so many things about animals that I'm not sure that one could just say that they're based upon instinct alone. I know a lot of animal enthusiasts out there will love this video, and other people will probably think I'm fucking out of my mind or stupid for saying this shit, but try to hear me out. A cat, whenever it climbs up a tree, it realizes that it can't just jump directly out of the top of a tree or an extremely high branch. Some reason this cat's brain, its consciousness, tells it that if it jumps too far, it's going to get fucking hurt, it's going to get killed, it's going to get damaged in some kind of way. A cat understands, like many animals, its limitations. Let me give you an example. You won't see a cat, a normal house cat, or just some wild cat that's in an alley in St. Louis that was born out there with no help or anything like that, or domesticated. It will not attempt to try to attack and kill or murder a human being. However, if it sees a smaller animal or creature such as a mouse or a rat, it will attempt to slay it, perhaps even play with it, kill it, and eat it. Now, why won't the cat go after a human being? Why won't it go after a bigger animal than itself? Perhaps try to murder a German shepherd? Because the cat understands its own limitations. It knows that if it goes after a bigger animal, it could die. It could be killed. It could lose the fight. There's no other way to explain it. You can't sit there and say that it's instinct. It's not instinct whenever a cat or an animal is able to understand its own limitations. When it understands that it can't jump from a certain height or to be destroyed or damaged, this means the cat is able to reason and rationalize and understand the outcome of its situation. The cat is actually conscious of its own existence. It's aware of its own life and what will happen if it makes that decision to fucking jump. So I'm not sure that we could base it on instinct. If anyone, however, wants to make a video to me and correct me, fine. But I think there's a lot more to the reasoning power of animals than what some people say. Now, someone might argue about horses that are in a barn or something. It's on fire, and a lot of horses won't run out. They will actually sit there and stay in the fire. Perhaps some animals are more evolved than others. Perhaps their consciousness is more open. But there's a lot of abilities that animals have that are beyond instincts. Who knows? Perhaps it's an individual basis. I don't know. Another thing we talked about too is, besides about animals and their consciousness, is we're also trying to figure out and understand the brain. There's been cases in the past where people who have done unbelievably abnormal things, or what we would consider abnormal, such as, I remember watching this thing on Ripley's Believe It or Not, where this fucking huge guy was actually able to drag a fire engine truck down the road for a short distance. He was actually able to tie a harness and a strap around his back and carry it. There was also a case a while back where a mother feared for her children's life, and her car was on fucking fire, and she was concerned that her kids were going to get caught in there and die. And somehow she managed to find the strength in herself to push the vehicle on its side so she could get her kids out. Now, did she somehow get some kind of supernatural power Did some kind of god come out of the sky and grant her the power of Samson or Hercules to fucking lift the vehicle so she could save her children? I don't think so. I believe that the brain has more, our mind and our brain and our consciousness have a lot more abilities than what we're understanding of it. It is said that there's only a percentage of our brain that actually works. In order for me to move my hand, to reach out, grab my camcorder, hit the record button, and rationalize that it will record me, is my brain telling me that it's possible. My brain tells me it's possible, and it tells my hand and my fingers to clutch the camcorder to record me. I believe that in many ways we have conditioned ourselves in society to limit ourselves to what we can do on a psychological level. An example is there are people out there who suffer from phobias, such as agoraphobia, I believe is how it's pronounced, and also the phobia in which people are afraid of closed-in areas. People condition themselves, and their brain convinces their body that they can't go out to an open area or be into a closed-in environment, or they'll start having anxiety and actually panicking and freaking out, actually convincing themselves they're in some kind of mortal danger. On the other hand, vice versa, a woman somehow sends a signal from her brain into her hands and arms and body to pull a car up to save her own children. So perhaps there's a lot more to the connection or the harness of energy within our brain that we are not aware of or have not completely figured out. A lot of these strange abnormal cases are looked at as just that. I don't believe it's a supernatural thing, though. I'm convinced that we have been conditioned over time, that our brains actually tell us that we can't do something. Let me try to put it in more of an analogy that people may understand better. It's like with boxers or musicians or people who are in sports. Before a person goes out on the field to win a game or something, they convince themselves inside their head that they're going to win. And they push themselves and they continue to say, I'm going to win this shit. And when they get out there with that attitude, it's almost like they perform just the way they had told themselves they were going to do. If a person goes out there and starts telling themselves that they're not going to win, that the other team's too fucking big and too goddamn talented, and have more abilities than they do, most likely they're going to lose. It's like a self-fulfilling prophecy. Do you understand? A person who says they can't get the girl, or they can't make friends, or a person who says they can't lose weight, or a person who says I can't all the way down the line, usually will not accomplish what their goals are set out to, because they've already convinced their brain is already convinced it won't happen, therefore it won't send the signals or the necessary attributes to the body to be able to perform what is needed to accomplish the goal set at hand. So, perhaps there is a lot more inside of the gateway of our mind if we could just learn to convince ourselves, or maybe the word is believe in ourselves more, we could actually make something happen. Of course, it would have to be in the boundaries of nature. Inside of the boundaries of nature, it can't be supernatural. We can't break the laws of, fucking gravity or anything like that. But shit, in a way we have. We've actually built rockets and stuff, and actually built rooms and stuff over in space centers where we can manipulate and do these type of things. The mind of man is unbelievable, the shit we've come up with. So this is Keane going on a rant about crazy shit. If anybody's got anything they want to say about it, it's cool with me. If you think I'm wrong, then go ahead and correct me and teach me, old wise one. Thank you.